I got divorced because of a Walt Disney World burger, and a lot of you have been wondering what happened to Ted after we got divorced, so let's get into it. Here's where we left off. Ted started to date Daisy. Now, Daisy is a family friend. She did my hair on our wedding day. She is super, super sweet, and she lost her husband in 2021. And this husband was friends with Ted, okay? But as soon as Chris passed away, Ted starts to swoop in and try to love bomb her and convince her that he can take care of her for the rest of her life. She finally decides to give him a chance, and as soon as she gives the green light, he immediately turns abusive and he shatters a lamp during an argument all over her floor. Daisy told me that there were about 7 to 8 episodes during the time that they were dating where he just completely exploded and seemed like a different person. And she said that there was a change in his eyes. He did not look like Ted. Now, if you remember, I also experienced that, but not only that, if you've been watching this whole series, you know that Ted's ex, who he dated before me, I did not know any of this until 2 months ago, okay? But before he dated me, he had attempted to grape his ex-girlfriend, and she said the exact same thing, that a different look came over his eyes and he seemed like a completely different person. So Daisy, despite having known Ted for like 20 years or 15 years at least at this point, he is now showing this side of himself that she has never seen before. Now, if you remember, Daisy is about 49 at this time, and I was so young when I dated Ted, so I really just let him get away with so much stuff and fell into a lot of his traps. But one thing that Daisy did great is that she really put him in his place at times. So one thing that he would try to get her to do would be to take responsibility for their arguments. He would like try to pin it back all on her and say that all of this was her fault. And I love her for this. She would tell him, listen, I was with Chris for 20 years. I have never experienced these explosive arguments in my entire life. This is you. Like, this is all you. This is a you problem. And yeah, he obviously did not like that. While I don't think he turned physically abusive, he was verbally abusive. So he used to call her every name in the book, just like he did to me. He would even call her a whore, which, can we just like wrap our minds around how evil this is? This woman was, I thought that was a spider. This woman was with her husband for over 20 years. I think they have 4 or 5 kids. Her husband just died. She lost her dad. She lost her brother-in-law. She is in the midst of grief. And Ted is tormenting this woman, shattering her lamp, calling her all of these names, and calling her a whore. Okay? What is wrong with this guy? Daisy also told me that she was shocked at how much he would try to gaslight her. For example, he would say something so horrible to her, and she would say, Ted, I can't believe you said blank. And he would look at her like dead ass and be like, I didn't say blank. She'd be like, yes, you did. You said it like 1 minute ago. And he would be like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And these are all things that I had honestly forgotten that he had done to me. But when I was talking with her, it was genuinely so healing because I was like, wait, I remember that. Yeah, he did used to do stuff like that. And it makes you feel like you're crazy. During another argument, she ended up telling him that she thought that he was acting narcissistic. And what's so crazy is she thought to herself, like after it came out of her mouth, she thought to herself, I bet he's going to say that about me in the next argument, because that is just like kind of how he rolled at this point. And wouldn't you know it, next argument, he accuses her of being a narcissist. If you remember from the burger story, Ted had tried to keep me up the night before my first half marathon, which was a huge achievement for me. And he would always try to sabotage whenever I had something really good going on. So like the first time he had ever fully assaulted me was the day before a job I was very excited for, and then there was that big blow up and he kept me up till 1 a.m. the night before my race. So Daisy said that this also happened to her. She said that there would be times when she would be really excited about something and then he would pick a fight. And she said she specifically remembered one time where she was invited to go to this photography type of showing or something like that, and he caused this huge fight beforehand and tried to ruin it for her. So I'm just saying this for educational purposes. Like, my entire purpose with sharing my story is that people might recognize their experience in them and realize You are not crazy if you think that there is a pattern in people's behavior in trying to ruin things for you. This is textbook abuse behavior. And I really want to get into the situation with his parents at some point because it is just very complicated and I have very complicated feelings about it. And Daisy heard some stuff while they were together, but I think I'm going to wait to talk about that until later because it kind of ties into my story. So next, I'm going to talk about Daisy's Disney World burger. If you thought my Disney World burger story is crazy, wait till you hear Daisy's story. It is so similar, so many parallels, a huge public fight involving a child being there. It is almost like he wanted to replicate it. It is very, very strange. Follow for the next part.